Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the COVID-19 Playbook for Delivering Beer with TapRm. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Super excited to hear. I want to give a quick thanks to Branded Strategic Hospitality for helping to promote and book this webinar, and thanks to Gallery Design Studio for making the following presentation look awesome. Now, before we get into this, I want to set this one up a little differently. The whole idea behind this webinar series was to provide some inspiration, some ideas that restaurant and bar owners could use to sort of transform their business, not only in the moment of the coronavirus, but also like when the doors fly open, you want to be ready for that business. And so that was the whole idea here. When I connected with Jason about this, we were going to walk through what TapRm does and how it works. And he actually had a really great idea, and I'm super excited about this presentation. He was like, look, all these bars and restaurants have literally never delivered beer and alcohol or wine before. Why don't we put together a webinar where we can show them how to figure it out super quick so they master that and really just put beer into the hands of the people that need it, like me. So I'm super excited about this, and we're going to get into it right now. So by watching the webinar today, you're going to learn a couple of things. The main three things. What does beer online today mean? What does beer selection look like for delivery? And how pricing works with the competition. So I'm super excited to get into that. Let me formally introduce Jason Sherman, the founder of TapRm. Jason launched TapRm just over a year ago to solve the issue beer brands were having selling online, as well as finding great distributors to support them. And like I said, that is a whole other webinar. If you want to get about the three-tier system, you can Google that. He spent the last 5 years on the forefront of innovation in the beer industry, including being a founding member of ZX Ventures, which is an innovation and venture capital arm of Anheuser-Busch InBev, where he led the acquisitions and investments team in over 100 companies in the beer, e-commerce, craft beer, general alcohol, technology space. It's a big space. He's a lawyer, which is what makes him so smart. By training and studying at Harvard Law, he has a degree in economics, mathematics from Harvard College. He's now bringing that legal innovation, and there is a lot of legal innovation needed in beer. And his experiences together help support the transition of an entire industry towards online sales. It's a big goal there, buddy. Hi, my name is Red Ciancio. If you don't know me, I'm a hospitality marketing consultant. I help restaurants raise awareness, acquire, and retain customers through digital marketing, social media, and the use of incredible software. Jason's magic wand is beer. Mine happens to be pizza. And I have more than 20 years experience in branding, digital marketing, hospitality, and I've worked with hundreds of restaurants to help them attract and retain customers. Now, I know a lot of people know me as a hospitality marketing influencer. That's because I run a couple Instagram accounts with almost 600,000 followers total. Lots of gratuitous food porn on there, some beer. And I also used to own a craft beer bar in New York City, so I know exactly how hard it is to market to brand a location-based business. But today, we are here to talk about delivering beer during COVID-19. And so with that, Jason, I'm handing it over to you.
Thanks, Rev. That's a great intro overall, and I'm excited to talk about the problem here. I think we jump right in. Am I clicking here? I'm gonna jump right in, go back one here. Sorry about that. Jump in with a quick history. I think most people have an idea of what three-tier is, but it really explains how we got to this situation with beer online and why the opportunity in the restaurant and bar space right now is so huge. Just taking New York City as an example, right? Three-tier across the country is effectively the same. In the brewery space, let's say there's 7,500 to 8,000 breweries. In New York City alone, there are 5 distributors, TapRm being one of them, but there are really 4 big ones as well. Those are the bottlenecks to reaching all the bars and restaurants that most of you work for, right? And that is the bottleneck to get to the consumer. And in the consumer space, let's say there's 8-9 million consumers out there. They're being given or curated a beer selection based on what those 5 distributors are doing. What else is happening? Each of those tiers is taking a big cut, making it nearly impossible for the consumer to get a reasonable price on their favorite brewery's beer directly from the brewery. However, there's a huge opportunity across New York City retailers, bars, and restaurants to provide them something new and interesting that wasn't there before. What does that mean? So what happened? Beer online has been really bad, mostly because of that regulation, right? You can't go to your favorite brewery's website and just click a buy now button, and it just can't happen because of that distributor, then the retailer. It's impossible. So while most things online in the consumer packaged goods space are being bought directly, so that 15 to 25%, only 0.2% of beer is bought online. And mostly that, we can show you what that looks like in a second. However, wine and spirits even is at 1 and 2%. The regulations are more relaxed around direct shipping for them. So beer is actually around 1/10, 1/15 of whatever is going on in the wine and spirit space. What does that mean? This is a huge moment in time, right? The only existing players in the beer space right now, they include grocery stores. I'm sure you've gone to the grocery store and seen beer there. If you do online ordering from your local grocery store, you'll probably see beer available. So whether that's Walmart or Harris Teeter or Kroger's, you'll see them online. That's a big player right now in the beer space. It's about 80% of the beer order online is coming from the grocery channel. The other side of that are the e-grocers, very similar to grocers online. They just don't have physical presences. And then the beer retailers. You've all been to a Bevmo or Total Wine, and you've seen beer there too. They have a website as well, and they're ordering some. That's a small part, though. Majority of their businesses are wine and spirits, right? And the last are the delivery couriers. Just like most of you are used to working with Grubhub or Seamless, these are the couriers that specialize more in alcohol, like Drizzly or Minibar or Saucy, as well as the courier pickups like Postmates and Instacart Prime Now. They're doing some amount of beer, although not as, again, very focused on wine and spirits. So it's a very small space, that 0.2%. How does it work, right? So if you're a customer and you're looking for your favorite brewery's beer, or you're looking for what great beer would pair with great food, how do you find it, right? The brewery will sell it to their distributor, who really chooses whether or not they're going to sell it to the restaurant or bar. In this case, the 3 other options for online sales of beer. The couriers sometimes send orders to the local beer store or grocery stores or beer retailers, and then the consumer can order from any of those channels. Makes it very expensive. There's not a lot of curation there, especially if you're looking for food that pairs well with that beer or beer that pairs well with that food. There's almost no way to do it. They're coming from different channels, right? So what is the solution, right? I can tell you real quick right now, over the last couple weeks, my website, so TapRm.com, that sells over 400 different beers, 97% of which can't be found online anywhere else, right? There's a lot of different beers available, is up 15x, right? That means that we are selling 15 times more beer over the last 2 weeks than we would be otherwise. Why is that? Everyone is at home right now looking for access to some great food products, beer being one of them, right? I'm sure you're seeing delivery increase as well. This is the time to add beer to that portfolio. So how do we do it, right? And I'm going to jump in. I'm moving pretty quick here. I'm going to jump in pretty quick. I can say, how do we do this? So back in my day with Anheuser-Busch, we worked with Buffalo Wild Wings, we worked with Fridays, we worked with Applebee's on how do we add beer to your pairing. And there's very clear data-based ways to do it. The first is, right, you need to update your selection for pairings with your menu. Okay, what does that mean? You probably did that before when you have a draft list all across the board that you thought paired very nicely with all the food in your portfolio. However, when being delivered to people's homes, it needs to be much clearer, right? So this is going into the next stage, updating your courier and delivery menus. You need to make sure that
typically when you're in a restaurant, you could be upsold by the bartender or the staff, or like, oh, it would go really well with this stout or that amber, or it could be on your menu, right? Like you can have that suggestive moment, or somebody could even ask, right? Hey, what beer goes well with these hot wings, right?
That's absolutely right. So you need to make sure that on your courier menu, so that's Seamless, Grubhub, if you have your own website, if you're on Bebot, you need to make sure that the beer that you're putting up there not just pairs well, but is described extremely well with the food pairing, right? So that is a full description of why that goes well with that meat dish, why that IPA might taste well with that fish dish. That will combine them extremely well, and it upsells it very quickly. The pricing, this is a huge one, okay? It's very easy to get into that, and we worked with Hooters closely, and the back and forth was, we sell Bud Light for $5, right, in the Hooters. What do we sell it for when we deliver it for people to go? The answer is you need to be competitive with the people around you. And so remember that the local beer store, right, the local supermarket, the couriers, myself, we are all selling beer online to people's homes at a certain price point. You can have a certain premium for the pairing with your foods, but you need to make sure that people see you right now as the key source for beer purchasing in addition to the food. So the pricing has to come down. I'm going to give you an example of Buffalo Wild Wings, but really that means the selection that you're carrying needs to not just be one can or one growler or one crowler, definitely not. It needs to be something they can keep in their fridge and have for a while. So sell them by the 6-pack, sell them by the 4-pack, even go as far as to have case pricing. So if they're doing a $50 food menu, they can pair it with a full case of Bud Light, a full case of Budweiser, a full case of Stella, a full case of Corona. You also have the option right now to do a complete mix pack. I know it sounds outrageous because it's not in your business to do, but if you're selling a family, a whole dinner time menu, it's really easy actually to add in a 6-pack curated with 6 different products that pair well with those food items, right? And that's something. Yep.
I would buy that today. I would actually probably add that to the cart before the meal.
Right. It's something interesting to do. And it being, the culinary experts that you are, they're going to trust your ability to pick things that work well, especially in this day and age. I'm going to say first and foremost, you have to know that people order online products that they know first and foremost. So you have to have the staples. You have to have the Bud Light. You have to have the Stella. You have to have the White Claw. I know it sounds outrageous, but people are going to be looking for that first and foremost. Then they're going to trust your ability to pair new products with food. So go and find the local craft breweries that you love, pick the local beers that you love, go get their packaged products and pair it with their food and introduce them to the people. To Rev's point, people will buy it. If they trust your ability to curate great food for them, they're also going to trust your ability to curate great beer for them. Great. And then the last one is a big one. I'm sure Rev has had a lot of people come on here and talk about digital marketing, but digital marketing in beer right now is a completely empty white space. Going out there and saying that we are doing these beer and food pairings, I am an expert in these pairings, or I have great beer at my restaurant, I am serving it in this local area where you do your delivery, you'll be the first to do that. And we are seeing unbelievable conversion numbers, both on paid media and out of home media right now, that it is something to explore, right? You will be the first to do it and you become a curator of those products. And then the big one that we've been talking to a lot of our accounts that we work with. So TapRm is also a distributor of beer to 300 or 400 restaurants and bars in the city. We've been working with a lot of our restaurants and updating their websites for conversions, right? I'm sure a lot of you have worked on your websites for reservation taking, for menu ordering, for online food delivery, not necessarily for direct conversions across the board. So it's as simple as making it clear that you have both food, alcohol, beer. If you're serving anything else right now, make it very clear on the front page what's available. We've done all kinds of little tricks, right? And the back end of that is making sure you are collecting people's emails, right? These are basic online tools right now that we worked very closely with a couple of our bigger accounts on updating their email funnels. So as somebody puts an email address on the website, what do you send them, right? Is it automatic? Does it come to them? In the beer space, nobody is doing this, right? So it's as simple as, oh, I'm coming on the website, putting in here, would you really like this great fish dish and this beer together tonight, right? That's an email that you can easily be sending to people. What don't you do? Expand the reach too quickly. Beer is perishable, right? Unlike spirits and unlike wine that lasts a very long time, the biggest fear is for most people today is receiving very old beer in the beer, especially if you're trying to pair it, right? So don't go out there and try and fill your entire store full of all the best beer you have because you know this is a big white space, right? You really got to restrict the SKUs you're selling. Sell your favorite ones, pair it well with your food, sell the top brands at competitive pricing, and that should be it, right? And that really should condense it down. You need to make sure it's all packaged, you make sure it's all fresh, and really do call the local distributors and local breweries if they're not selling you that, because the absolute worst thing for you right now, and we get it a lot, where we'll have a local brewery or a distributor accidentally send us an old batch, and we'll send it out to a consumer by accident, even though we're doing checking, and we'll get in a lot of trouble with those consumers, right? You don't want that at all. Beer is very perishable.
I am typically not one of those people at a restaurant that sends the dish back. I just eat it. I will send beer back. Like if I get, and clearly I'm at home now, but if I was at a bar and somebody gave me a flat beer or an expired beer or the hops have turned to sugar, like I'm sending that back. And there are a lot of me out there, right? Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't serve those beers.
don't serve those beers. That being said, if you don't know a lot of beer, a lot about beer, there's a lot of resources out there to help you, us included. You know, you can always call us. We can give extremely strong advice on what pairs well, what's available in your area. Also, if you call your local brewer who you really like, they're going to give you some great advice as well, and they'll probably even make you in some nice fresh batches that you can be using. To Rev's point, the last thing you want is to take a risk, right? You want to make sure you're trying these things. And that goes to online delivery, right? The reason you don't want to hold too many SKUs, and the reason you want to make sure that the ones that are not super well known or paired well, is that people do not want to try something more than one time, right? So if you give them the chance to sample, which you can do in the bar or in the restaurant on premise, or you can give them a taste of almost anything new, they're not going to be able to do that online. So they need to be convinced online that this is going to be a perfect pairing for them, or else they're not even going to take that leap. They're going to go right back to their tried and true, either the brewery they really know, or they're going to go back to the Bud Light and the Stellas that they've always known, right? So you need to make sure you give them a reason to add beer to their cart, right? Which is, we went back to it, making sure the online menus are really well described, making sure that your pairings make sense, but also the pricing makes sense too. And you give them an option both for a 6-pack if they want to add a mix, or for a single can to add in. Right. Cool. So where's TapRm playing right now in this space? So we are in New York City, a full service distributor. Like I was saying, we're in about 300 or 400 different accounts with our exclusive collection of very high quality, but also very innovative brands. We also service fulfillment for all those brands across New York State for home delivery. So we're playing in this dual channel where all the brands on our website, we ship across New York City same day. We're shipping it across the state. You know, we're now moving over 1,000 orders a day. So we're seeing really what trends are working and what's not working. I can tell you right now that the bars and restaurants have a unique opportunity. While it takes us maybe a full day, 2 days to reach somebody with our collection, the restaurants we work with, and we're trying to get as many to work with right now, can be carrying a lot of these packaged products to be getting out to the neighborhoods that they're in, right? And it's a massive opportunity. Going back to getting the word out there that you have it, there are people at home right now looking to be introduced to new beer brands, to new products, and you can get them to them in an hour, right? In 2 hours. You have that infrastructure already set up for your food delivery. Adding in beer, it should be a simple fix. And honestly, we are here to help do those software integrations if you don't know how, but it's very simple. Both DoorDash, Grubhub, Seamless, Caviar, they're all set up for beer delivery now. Some are even just doing pickup from breweries. So they have full front end space just for beer. This could be a spot where we can help, but there's many resources out there for you. Cool. Let me jump into Buffalo Wild Wings. So in, I guess 2017 and early 2018, Buffalo Wild Wings was the first major chain to really add beer to their menu in a big way, right? They partnered with DoorDash. While I was at Anheuser-Busch, we worked with them to do this and put this partnership together, and we didn't know what to do, right? It was really kind of a new space. You know, we started off with the idea, which I'm sure a lot of you have too, with why don't we just take the draft beer, put them in plastic cups, seal them up, and put a straw in it, right? We very quickly realized consumers did not like that. It is a little gross. It's a little strange. It wasn't very fresh by the time it got to them. And without the experience of seeing the head on top of that glass inside a plastic cup, nobody wants it. We then tried.
I can also imagine a lot of beer being spilled in cars.
A lot of beer spilled in cars. Yeah, the drivers hated it. We then experimented with growlers, right? So we thought putting them in growlers, which a lot of people do. But the problem is, if you're a restaurant, you're not a brewery, right? If you're not a brewery, obviously, you're a restaurant, people don't trust that the beer going into the growler is going to be as fresh as it needs to be in a growler, right? Growlers quickly deplete in freshness over the course of every hour that goes by. And I think the consumer started to realize fast that that Stella you put into a growler isn't going to taste very good 2 hours later. So we quickly got rid of that idea. The only thing that really resonated was packaged canned products or bottles, but packaged products, and really resonate well is to sell them by 6-packs. We started off selling them at the price that they would over the counter, which ended up being 6-packs for $25 of Bud Light. We noticed that if you switched it down to a competitive price, so that is $10, we saw a 10x uplift in people ordering the beer. So that quickly made up the margins, and we saw people were coming back because they could pair their burgers and wings with a very affordable 6-pack of Bud Light that are still margin positive for Buffalo Wild Wings, are very margin positive, but we're giving the customer something they couldn't get from any of the competitors around them. That was 2 years ago, right? Very quickly after that, you saw almost all competitors jumping into the same space and building partnerships with, DoorDash was doing one, Delivery.com would do another, Postmates would do another, and you started seeing these come in. Now it's at a point where the major delivery providers, the courier providers that you all work with for food, all have that infrastructure already there and would like to open up the beer programs to everyone. No one's really diving in because the traditional way of doing it, as we said before, is to have just the pouring it into a plastic cup, sealing it, throwing it into a growler from your draft line, maybe having a can or two. And in today's world, it needs to adjust, right? Think about those 6-packs of Bud Light and Budweiser and Coors. Think about those mixed 6-packs or single cans that pair very well with your beer, and you're going to go a long way. Great. And the optimized website. With Buffalo Wild Wings, we spent a long time with them to optimize for beer delivery. Work with your partners if you do not have a website partner. I know Rev has a lot of great contacts, so do we. There's a lot of people that can help out with this, but you need to make sure it's as easy as possible. The one thing people forget about online sales and why Seamless has really taken off in a lot of ways is the ease of use, right? People get distracted, very distracted when they're on the internet. All it takes is for a push notification these days from Twitter about a new thing happening in COVID, your friend texting you a silly meme, and you're immediately going to stop ordering both your food and your beer from that website, especially if it involves something you do not need necessarily, which beer is, right? Especially as an add-on to food, you don't always need to add it in, so it needs to be extremely easy. They're not going to go searching for it. So work within your software integrations to make sure that it's clear, that it's available, and it's a good deal and exciting.
Awesome. Cool. So before we jump into this, I want to go back one slide real quick.
Yeah.
So really the huge takeaways here, right? Must be packaged, right? Must be packaged, must be easy to find on your website, and must be easy to order, right? Like those are the big ones.
Must be easy
and
to
lastly, order. Competitively priced with retail pricing, not not dining pricing.
Absolutely. And curated. And very well curated with your pairings with your foods, as well as carrying the mass products. Right.
It's awesome. I'm texting like 3 restaurants later today and telling them that I want craft 6-packs.
Right. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think that's all I have on the specific stuff. I'd like to introduce, I guess special offer is an interesting term for what we have, but we here at TapRm, we launched what is becoming a reasonably sizable relief fund that 100% of the proceeds are going to go to displaced members from the restaurant, brewing, bar, hospitality communities. We have names of people, but frankly, we have a larger fund than names. So we'd love more people that have been displaced to be added as a recipient. If you have people in your networks that you unfortunately had to let go or furlough during this time, please let us know. We are donating $10 from every $50 order on TapRm, as well as collecting donations. But we are giving away 20% of our sales towards the fund. And so hopefully that will help out quite a lot of the bars and restaurants that we normally work with, while our online sales are reaching people at home and building brands. The people who unfortunately could not benefit during this time from home delivery will get some of this back. So please let us know who those are.
Cool. Two quick questions here.
Yeah.
When you say $50 purchase, is that B2B or B2C?
It was both.
Okay.
So we're doing both right now. That being said, our B2B orders also have come down a lot. We're mostly off premise now.
Okay.
So.
Second question is, I'm not in New York, but I have friends there. Can I send somebody some beer and the donation still is good?
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to spend $100 today, 2 orders of 50. the first 2 people to message me that are in New York City, I will send you $50 worth of beer. So first 2 people
Thanks,
to message
Rev.
me. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Great.
Cool. All right. So, Jason, look, I think this is awesome. This is really, really super helpful. I cannot wait to get this live and share with people, which is funny because if people that are watching will hear me saying that. People want to get in contact with you. Best way to do that?
Yeah, please just email me directly. While I get a lot of emails, I try and respond to everybody as timely as possible. So please just email me if you need help. Our team is large now for the, especially account support side. You know, we're here to help you build in those integrations, help you with your curation, and get you great product if you need it, especially in New York City. But otherwise, you know, let me know what advice you need and we're here.
Cool. This is really awesome, man. Thank you. Super helpful. We really love the content. For those of you who are watching this, if you liked what you learned today, please, we're saying smash the like button for us. Give a cheers to the like button, I guess is probably more appropriate here. You can also comment and ask questions or say that you like this. And if you really, 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 really like this webinar, please, please, please share it with friends or with colleagues or you know, people who want to know about this type of stuff. It's really awesome. Thanks, Jason. All right. And if you really like what you're learning on all of these webinars, we invite you, if you want to have similar discussions, into a private networking and Facebook group we have with restaurant executives. You can get your questions answered about hospitality marketing, mindset coaching, tech success. It's run by myself and inspirational thought leader, John Mark Shaw. He's incredible. We'll put some really great stuff there. Just go to bit.ly/restmaster. That's short for Restaurant Executive Mastery. Again, that's bit.ly/RESTMAST. It's our private Facebook group. You can join for free. It's bit.ly/RESTMAST. And with that, I want to give some likes and thanks to Branded Strategic Hospitality. They are a micro venture investment and solutions platform that leverages an ecosystem of restaurants, hospitality expertise, and deep relationships to hospitality technology, merging concepts, unique food and beverage concepts with capital and customers. They are really their hospitality tech accelerator. They might actually be how you found out about this webinar, so I want to thank them. I also want to give some likes and thanks to Gallery Design Studio. They help B2B businesses with reliable ongoing marketing creative. I've worked with them for years. They're fantastic. They do great work. They created a template for this webinar. We're super grateful. Jason Sherman from TapRm, thank you so much for joining us. This is awesome, awesome content.
Thank you, Rev. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and if any of you that are watching have questions for me or want to talk about ways that I can help you, please reach out to me on LinkedIn where we are. You can just DM me, or I'm on every single social network as Rev Ciencio. You can also email me, therev@yeahmanagement.com. Yeah, it's spelled Y-E-A-H. People leave out the H all the time, and I'm like, that's Yay Management, not Yeah Management. I don't know those people. They might not be people. Who knows? Lastly, I want to thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully you found this to be really insightful. Some really great tips in here, and you're thinking of new ways to master success in your restaurant business. Again, if you really liked what you learned today, give a cheers to the like button, leave a comment, and please share this webinar. Guys, thanks so much, and make it a great, tasty day.